Hello, everybody, from your favorite casters, apparently. It's myself, Midgeman, and I'm joined by the wonderful Tommy K.
You're wonderful, too. It's good to be back after I just absolutely demolished Bokken 1. And we're now getting into, and I'm so excited for this. I was waking up this morning, I'm like, is this the day? Is this Dankus versus Seemops? I couldn't handle the excitement of this game. We're in North Africa, and these two players are facing it off. What are your thoughts?
I am really interested. I really like what Bo's saying, that Seemops has become a kind of a dark horse of the competition. Of course, knocking someone out of the competition who's beaten Dankus before. Dankus is our highest ELO seeded player, conjoined with Leonard, it has to be said, but they did win last time. Dankus has the experience of winning one of these tournaments. He has that under his belt, but overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
That is true.
And it could prove to be disastrous for him, and we are getting in-game. It is unpaused. Everything is underway. Let us go. Right here we have Seemops, the Allies build on show, already telegraphing some naval invasions there. Tommy, what do you make of this?
He is already preparing stuff. He's not just being lazy, not just seeing what's going to happen. He's already being active there. The question is, will this be enough to do any damage to Dankus, who often is anticipating stuff? Let's take a look at the starting builds of our players. We're going over to Dankus. We talked about this. This map seems to be a bit allied favorite. A lot of allies. Ooh, we have something very interesting here in a second. This map seems to be a bit allied favored because of USA picks, but as I was just shown, there ain't no USA, buddy. The Commonwealth is coming in. Midgeman, the true meta man, told us about the Canadian First Army, and maybe we're going to see it here. Maybe it could even be the 8th Army. We're going to figure that out. But going back to Dankus, looking at his Axis build, gets the basic opener of the 2 civilian factories. He is doing the trick where you get 30 days of extra research. Basic start, they always get survivability studies and heavy MGs early to design planes. And on the other hand, we have pretty much the same build. He doesn't use the 30-day trick going into construction 1, equal here in the beginning, but the upset right now, the Commonwealth is being picked.
I like this. One of the big understatements, no matter what you pick with the Commonwealth line, is you do get that nice battleship fleet, the Mediterranean fleet, which gives you not only 2 battleships, but an aircraft carrier, which is really potent. And if he can get that multi-control and use this navy to steal that multi-control, get the shore bombardment bonus, he could really tend to dominate. This is actually how I was saying that an Axis player should upset the Allied play on this map. But it seems that Seemops is going to try it from an Allied perspective. I really like this.
And Dankus already showing an anti-tank 2 build. That is very interesting. He also changed his name to Seemops, but that's going to be fixed in a second. And now also just taking his time here. The boys are just getting ready. And there we have the real Seemops on the Allied side. And we just are in the basic build-up phase. I always like when I watch these guys, they still read stuff. Even though they prepare so much, they still read. What is this going to do? Is this the right thing? Oh, 2 naval dockyards. What? Seemops. Okay. I was just playing table tennis with him hours ago, and he said, Tommy, I'm not playing USA. I'm going to show you something. And now he's picking Commonwealth and is building a dockyard. 2 dockyards.
Interesting. Look. Hovering over that 8th Army, I wonder if that... Okay. My guess here is he's going to use the Commonwealth 8th Army, so he has to build less fighters. Try and get those extra 200 fighters, back it up with 100 of his own. That's still 300 fighters, which is a lot. And he also has that ability to be able to move them around the various points here. Obviously, there is the ability now that the fuel has been rebalanced on these maps, so there is land fuel as well as this mortar fuel, which means navies are more present in this. I think this could be a really interesting upset, especially if Dankus really gears himself towards countering that late-game Allied aggression from the US pick. If he gets really upset by this complete naval dominance, this could be interesting. Obviously, in your game, we also saw mines became a big problem.
Oh, they were a big problem.
If there's any room for that, and there's these dockyards being built, maybe that's to build mine layers.
That could be true. I'm also loving... Seemops is turning into my favorite player. He just used the hotkey to place his spy. Who does that? Most people click, click.
There's a hotkey for it? I didn't even know that. I didn't even know there's a hotkey for it.
He pressed the button on his keyboard, and the spy was set. He is becoming esports ready. And we know who likes to say esport. It is Dankus, and he's now facing a man that seems to also know a lot about esports. As we switch over to that man, What is he up to? Anti-Tank 2 is in the research, gets the mills here. Pretty basic start, is not showing yet what build he's doing. If I want to take a little look, is Dankus? He could be late on fighter design. He's not taking any air XP focuses yet, but he's researching air stuff. And if we look right here, in 18 days, he is ready to design a plane.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the air XP for it yet.
He's getting it, though. He has got Albert Kesselring in his military staff, giving him that daily air experience gain. And that
Clever.
is going to be toggling up about totally about 0.5 per day. So it will take him 16 days to have enough XP. For a really good design, roughly.
That is very clever. Just going for the early industry, he's going to be head in mills, and if he wants to design his plane, he just does it with an advisor. That is very clever. There's going to still be a little layoff. It's just a small one. It's not going to, in the end, change the outcome of the game. He even is looking at it at the moment. He knows something's going on there, but this is a beautiful, different opener from Dankus here.
Yeah, Dankus also hasn't built an intelligence agency. This is one of the things we noticed in the last tournament. Dankus was really slow to pick up on the intelligence game. If Dankus had an intelligence agency right now, not only would he be able to start stacking some passive defense, which I think is kind of necessary these days because people are becoming more active with the spies, but he could use it to try and find out early what has been picked, because he would see that the Commonwealth focus has been locked in and that the game has changed.
Yeah, and one thing I love to do in my game is if you put the spy on your enemy and then click on your enemy, which I can do right here, you get so much information. I was checking this very often in the previous game. Oh, my enemy is on air. They're now switching to capital ships.
Yep.
This is great information. If you have a 100% spy network, you get this information pretty much clearly. Interesting enough, when Dankus decided to not make an agency, he already does a bit of damage to Seemops here. Why? Seemops did passive defense. That is 5 civilian factories invested 2 times into there's nothing to defend. Already a little mini outplay on Dankus' side here.
Yeah, I am really interested to see what Seemops is planning. Honestly, those fighters already going into production there, as we can see. Let's actually just take a quick look at the production spread. Like I said, he's building those fighters. I reckon we're going to get the Commonwealth 8th Army. So he's going to have 200 Spitfires from that. He's going to have his own fighters that will be a bit more decent, probably a bit better designed to back those up. And then he'll just outnumber whatever Dankus tries to throw. I think he's just trying to overwhelm that cast, because I'm guessing Seemops is probably quite correctly thinking, Dankus is going to come out with the standard Axis heavy tank play, which comes with that CAS, and he wants to try and prevent that as much as possible. Also, then we've just got a flat line of trucks, artillery, and infantry. Nice and standard. Not really prepping themselves to do tanks there on that build. It's backing up that infantry. And one thing I also want to notice, cruisers in reproduction. Those are being refit from the Commonwealth Navy, I believe those are. So those are going to be spotting fleets.
Yeah, Seemops is showing a lot of interest into Navy early on. Dankus just building convoys. His focus tree has nothing to do with any Navy right now. It looks like Seemops understands. If I get Malta here and I hold my Tripoli, I have my 2 victory points, and Dankus, you have to come at me. A very different meta than we've seen yesterday, where USA players were just preparing, and the final 10 minutes they will go in on games, take that victory point, and win the game. The question of this game is going to be, is it viable, what Seemops is doing here? He has to prove that. Other than that, players will realize, maybe we just go back to the US. But at least he's trying something different here.
No, I love this. I absolutely love this play, and I love this inventiveness from Seemops. He's been planning this. You can tell. You yourself, you saw him and you spoke to him, and he said, I'm going to show you something. I really hope he shows us something today. Hang on, that's the 7th Armored Division. Where's he gone? No. Wait, has he locked it in? No, he hasn't locked it in. Okay, so he's built an armored division. Is that by hand?
That cannot be true. Let us investigate this quickly here. No, from the focus tree, that is not possible.
So he gets that from just locking in Commonwealth. That's what that is.
We're not used to the Commonwealth pick.
Yeah,
so
exactly. It's a surprise. So
was surprised here.
Wow, actually, thinking about that then, with the going back to my Polish tree, so the Canadian tree idea, if you get that 7th Armored Division there and then you lock it, which is a light tank division, you'll have a light tank division, 2 medium tank divisions, and a pretty decent infantry, motorized division.
I didn't think about that. That is very strong. The light tank is especially in North Africa.
Light tank, 2 medium tanks, and a motorized division, because the Canadian Engineers is a motorized division. That's a real potent tree.
Yeah, it's important for the viewers to understand, and for me to understand. The first focus you take here, in this case the Commonwealth, spawns you some army, 2 infantry divisions, and the 7th Armored Light Tank Division, and a fleet. So not only the focuses matter, also what the beginning of your focus tree spawns you matters.
Absolutely. I am really interested to see what goes on here. Also, we need to make it just another note that the maps have had changes since day one, in the fact that also everyone has closed trade laws now. So everyone has these more resources available. You have the ability to just build a bit more. You've got a bit more fuel. There's a lot more to play with. Your own industry matters so much more.
And you just saw both players smiling here, chat. And what they're doing is they're sending each other military access requests. A mind game here, trying to trigger the meta of the other player. Let us take a look at Dankus here, who is now going for his first paratrooper. Ooh. And that is a pretty basic start. He wants to paratroop into Malta, get it quickly, do not allow the allied player to naval invade Malta, and secure these 2 points.
Look at that. Dankus keeping an eye on how much time he has left for that build-up. There's one thing I don't think a lot of the players do, and I feel like the beginning of the war gets really close before they start checking that. He's being active. He's trying to calculate how much time he has left here. I'm really intrigued, though, to see what he picks. He's still without a faction pick. And we noticed one thing about in your 2v2 showcase match. One of the things we noticed is that, those end cap abilities, you guys got that so much later than Bo did in his team, which, you won, so it wasn't as big a factor, but we noticed that some of those modifiers you would have gone, and there it is, there's the Wehrmacht pick. We are going to see the heavy tanks, which Seemops has planned for.
I was just talking to Dankus before, and he said he has something else in store, but it doesn't look like. He was just trying to even fool me, but he's going with the standard Germany opener. The beautiful thing about this map is, I think I would consider this a late game map. This map is not often quickly done. People fight it out till the end, and the Axis player has to figure out a way to go into the end. And we will see if the Germany pick is the right decision against that. Already, in my opinion, we see a massive advantage in Navy for Seemops. He has the British Navy in his focus tree. He is already building cruisers. And if he manages to use the Navy to take Malta against this not so strong German Navy, Dankus is going to be in trouble. He will have to take Tripoli somehow, because the naval capabilities are just too low. He cannot take Malta if Seemops keeps going with such a strong Navy. And it's going to come down to a land war late in the game.
Yeah, one thing I would really want to see, though, is I'm really concerned about, with Dankus' build order, if we're going to get transport planes.
Even that takes defense.
Really?
That looks like he wants to paradrop Malta quickly and then just defend it. He's saying, hey, you have a big navy, I will just defend Malta. But as we've seen last game with Bokovin's mine build, if you know what you're doing, a navy can be easily used to shut down Malta. You can mine it, you can raid, submarines are allowed here, and whatever division is on Malta is going to attrition and going to be an easy pickoff for Seemops.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, if Seemops is given the time to build some really strong marine divisions, maybe some marines with some rocket artillery on top of them, which is currently being researched right now. Oh, would you look at that? Some marines with some rocket artillery. They will shred something that's out of supply on there. That soft attack bonus will just be way too much.
And that marine shows he knows I'm probably not going to get Malta. The paratroopers will be there before I can arrive. And these marines are the countermeasure to that. And especially with that beautiful fleet in the back, the shore bombardment, he's going to have a great time in Malta, I will think.
Yeah. I really, really like what Seemops is doing here. I really like his calculations on the play here. I just think I think he's like pulled Dankus into a trap here. This could be an upset, but it's still gonna come down to micro. We can't ever count Dankus out on micro, especially when there's a heavy tank involved. Yeah. That boy knows how to play, and guys, this is gearing up to be an exciting game, and this is only our first match of this best-of-3 series.
Especially, I would love to see a 1-1 between these players, because finally, live on the Speed 5 official channel, we will see a Nashinron game on high-level competitive, not just for the laughs and the jokes, but for real. These two players will have to fight it out on the Southeast Asia map. I gotta be honest, I would love to watch them on this map, because I can just sit back and don't have to do it myself.
Oh, yeah.
And that is very nice. And we will see if it gets to a 1-1. What is the second map after this? We already have that drawn. It is.
Yes, it's this again, I believe, with these guys.
Just with switch
I believe.
sides.
I will double check this. I have the
I think
information
so.
available. I think it's this with switched sides. I cannot be sure without checking.
And I love that, though. That is a true show of skill. You cannot argue that the maps are unbalanced or anything. Both players are fighting. One game each on this map on each side. So if someone 2-0s here, he truly was just a better player. Dankus getting the Panzer lead now. Pretty basic opener. We see a lot in this tournament here. Gets his tank, gets his bonuses. Over the course of tournaments, like the one in December, when a player too often plays the same build, it is more and more likely that someone finds a counter to that. And the moment Seemops is trying to maybe offer that, a counter to that, maybe it will be one. Because if you always do the same build, aka the German heavy tank build, you are more and more open to people figuring you out.
No, it's the next game that's double Sonneblume. This goes to Rhine next.
We're going to
So this
Rhine.
one would be a full set of all 3 maps together,
Ah.
which would also be just as exciting.
But that's also great to see the Rhine map again. Anti-air on the ships. Looking at Seemops here, you just feel that guy's taking his serious, really, really serious right now.
I love this refit. I love this heavy ship refit. That's going to be really potent if it comes into contact with anything that Dankus throws out. He'd put the radar on there, which obviously is extra submarine detection. So he's expecting the Silent Hunters play from the Wehrmacht, which is going to be beautiful. Ah, that's Desert Air Corps. So he went 8th Army. We're not going to see Canada. Canada, as I was about to say that. So we are going to see elite infantry, those 200 extra planes, but also the special air surface, the tank hunters, and it's going to, yeah, I really dig this. This is a really, really
Let's
good
go into
thing.
detail there. If he takes Malta, and it's easy going to hold, and Dankus is offering a land-based attack, what does the focus streak give Seemops in order to handle that? First of all, obviously, Desert Air Corps, beautiful. 200 airplanes of his own design. He could even rush another fighter model and give it an air doctrine. He can tank hunt, and we all know German heavy tanks. The single German heavy tank is not going to like this. He even gets 100 Tout anti-tank. A bunch of infantry divisions, more infantry divisions. The special air service. He gets a paratrooper for free, an elite one. And even another operative slot, which could... the players were arguing a bit. Something you shouldn't forget on these maps is policing. The neutral territory in the middle has a lot of rebellions going on. And putting spies on that with resistance diminishment is going to help you a lot for your supply and your equipment. Then he gets Montgomery, a heat attrition bonus, very, very nice. 50% army speed bonus. And then the final one doesn't help him a lot on the land. Actually, doesn't help him at all. It is just truly and utterly a naval bonus. And one thing that could maybe happen here is that Seemops goes too deep into Navy. He makes sure he wins the naval war. He takes Malta, but then he's putting too many of his resources into the Navy and doesn't have enough to stop Dankus's push that's coming on the land.
Don't forget the Brits also get access to the Adopt the Sherman path and the Civilian Navy path, which does give them some medium tank designs and some medium tank chassis, and also some extra equipment, just extra little bonuses there that could really come in clutch if you're starting to take some losses.
And Dankus is getting his 10 with build. A meta maker here. He has been playing the 10 rifts in training. Many people copied him. I just copied him in my game because the 10 rifts are just such a beautiful division in Hearts of Iron 4. They can hold. People can't just meme you, snake you. It's not a division that pushes anyone, but it's a division that makes sure you don't go down quickly. He has a lot of them, as we see on the screen here, and there's the paratrooper ready to take Malta and buy a house there and not pay taxes anymore.
A lot of 12-width infantry coming out for Seemops, possibly to hold the line. Probably going for a slightly weaker infantry divisions there, just to make sure he doesn't eat up that supply too early. I don't know if 12-width is the one he wants to go to. Maybe if he produces enough artillery, though, and upping those to 15-width in the desert, that could prove really nice.
Yeah. Let's switch over to Seemops again. Also, we're how close to the war? We're actually only 30 days away. This is quick gameplay. This is going to start early. Also, the game I just had before, when you sit here and play these games, you're so shocked how fast this game starts.
Oh, yeah.
The 1 year is over instantly. You don't have as much preparation time as you would like to do. This is about to start. But I don't think that currently Dankus' 12 whiffs are a big issue here for Seemops because there is no supply. And once again, chat to show you what is going on this map. A beautiful addition by the creators is they set up supply hubs in the region. Oh, there is now. Isn't that a change? That there's railways now?
That is interesting. I don't think those were intended, but there are supply hubs there, yes.
That is interesting, but I just wanted to make the point, in the beginning of the war, there's almost no supply here in this region, so you can't really rush anyone on this map. On the right, you can do that. We're going to see it next, but you have to first build up the supply hubs, the connection to supply hubs with the railways, and then Dankus could try something with his heavy tank.
I think the neutral nation built them.
Wait, the neutral?
Yeah, I don't think that's a slight error in the
Shout
mod
out to
there.
the League of Nations, bringing jobs to the region. This is interesting for Dankus.
Yeah, this could
for
really
the
change
railways
things.
are helping him out. Thank you, Council of Neutrality. That isn't very neutral, though, lads.
That's not very neutral of you. Hey, look, this is always the thing when you're playing with mods. Sometimes you change one thing, then something unexpected happens. I know that some of the mod team are taking a look at this, and if you can work out what we may have broken in any of our beta fixes, that would be grand. But that is quite funny. But either way, we are now 4 days away from the combat. So Dankus has managed to get 4 paratroop divisions out there, 10 width. They are going to be able to land. So he's probably going to get Malta first, because I don't think the naval invasion will be faster than Dankus's micro click. However, if they can be starved out, Seemops can come back for it later. We shall see. But here it goes. Here's the war declaration.
The war started. He now quickly takes the airport here. Very, very good play. He now needs to set it up to take Malta. It's taking some time there. I don't know what he's planning exactly. He puts the Navy up in the Mediterranean, and he's getting ready. There it is. That's a quick paragraph.
Yeah, he's on it.
Quickly done. And that's a very standard opener here for our Axis players. Malta is in the hands of the Axis. The question is, though, in the next 39 minutes, can he hold Malta against the massive British Navy that Seemops is offering? And there we have a first little naval battle in which nothing is really happening. This is a great example of what we're going to see a lot in this game. We have an amazing navy from Seemops, and we have the submarines of Dankus running away, which happened perfectly here. It's going to be hard for him to get these submarines first. Maybe naval split will help. And there already comes the naval invasion very early. Doesn't even wait long. They get caught, though. The Navy needs to help.
There needs to be some support in here. This could be bad for Seemops. He's microing in North Africa right now. He needs to stop this naval invasion almost. Although his navy is now in. One thing I want to see, is that navy on naval invasion support, or is it currently tank?
There it is. It's now finally in protecting. One submarine already goes down. The submarine already has stopped the Marines a bit, but they lost no orc and no equipment. This isn't going to do much. It's a beautiful reaction.
I really don't like how Seemops has set up his navies right now. Nothing is on naval invasion support, so there's going to be no shore bombardment bonus when this goes in. And most of his fleets aren't split up well or balanced out properly to do the task they've been set on to. They're currently both convoy raiding, and that is not going to be efficient. They have not been set up efficiently enough. Too much time is being focused on the micro of North Africa to notice what's going on. And this is just going to be equipment lost for him if he's not careful.
Yeah, now the orc damage can be seen. Dankus forgot to take a naval commander here, but it doesn't matter. He's still intercepting well. You could almost say he's last standing. His submarines here. The first damage has been done. The fight is still going on. And the fleet is just running away. They're like, I cannot see the submarines. I'd rather just go away. And, oh, that is a lot of beautiful sounds here. And we also have a battle now here on the land. Seemops just rushing in with a 2 with motorized. This is not going to work here like it did in the Rhine map. Dankus is holding Tripoli. He's holding his airport. There's going to be stalemate here. But is this invasion going to happen? It goes up to 82. The submarines are doing a great job. One more convoy going down.
Seemops has actually set up a second naval invasion to attack Malta. This actually might not be enough for Dankus. Dankus might lose Malta here. This is getting really tight for him.
Unlucky that a single submarine is reconnecting and now killing even one convoy as the main fleet is in the northwest. But it should be enough. Another submarine connecting. These submarines, everybody who plays Hoi 4 knows these submarines are nasty. You just do 2 clicks with them and they are harassing your enemies so much.
Also, Seemops has not set his navy to split off when damaged. So the entire main carrier fleet has been backed up to port because of one damaged destroyer.
And there we see micro is very important. He has the navy built, but handling a navy is a very, very hard thing in Hearts of Iron 4. The battle is still going on, and the submarine interception is just beautiful. I think you're going to see in a second again that submarines are just going to re-engage with this. And there it is. They just keep, and we have a desync.
They're going to resync here. let's just talk about what we've seen so far. So the idea is there for Seemops, correct? Like, he has got a solid idea for what's going on. He's had the plan, but the execution hasn't been quite there. I don't think he's far from being out of this yet, but he's given Dankus way more ground than I think than Dankus actually kind of deserves, honestly.
The problem is really, unfortunately, it's so much easier for Dankus to operate in Mediterranean. He sets up 4 submarines, never looks at it again. While Seemops with his navy has to micro it, split it, submarine hunting. Is there enough escort defense for my invasion here? It is much, much harder to get away with something. And there's a lot of naval battles happening. The submarines are slowly dying. They can take a lot of damage. There's just one submarine left that is in the naval invasion, and we're back in the game. The naval invasion keeps going on, and you see he's looking at that and that only. He wants it. The paratroopers almost de-orked. He should take this, and in the end, it doesn't matter that it took a bit longer. As long as he has Malta, he has it, and then he has just utter naval supremacy. He has an unbelievable navy, and nothing that can really stop him there.
There's a paratrooper on Malta right now that isn't engaged, but is stood there as well.
Let us show us. I want to show that. That is interesting.
So,
that is very interesting. Maybe there's something going on that if a paratrooper drops somewhere, he's not allowed to go join an ongoing battle. I don't know about that, but
I don't know either. That's a really interesting.
I call that the karma paratrooper because of the submarines and how easy they're to be handled.
Yep, I mean, it could have been moved in through naval. I'll have to double check on that. That's a really interesting one. Okay, the navy seems to be starting to be split up for Seemops now. There's a little bit more micro going on there. Again, if this gets set up properly, this navy is going to do so much damage. However, they need to be put on the right missions in the right kind of groups as well. It needs to.
And Malta holds. Malta holds in the end.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're looking actually at Dankus. Malta is not holding. The bubble looks very bad for him. If we switch over to Seemops, we're going to see he's actually still doing great. The interception is so annoying though. These submarines come again. I gotta say, after 6,000 hours of First Sergeant 4, I still don't know how you stop this. I think you gotta really have a nice destroyer with good sonar, good detection against submarines, and then something can happen because you need to do damage to them. But first you have to see them for that. And you see right now here, 6 submarines are doing so much harassment here in the early game. The bubble is going greener and greener though.
Yeah, I think though, with how the paratroopers have stuck there, it's gonna just instantly start a new battle. As soon as this battle ends, I don't think they're gonna overrun because there is a unit on the tile that's not engaged.
Not a submarine goes down though.
I think it's gonna be just starting another
and there is
naval.
Submarines are getting weaker and weaker. Yes, they're harassing, but slowly they're just dying out. They're going extinct like the dinosaurs, and they ain't coming back. And Malta could very shortly belong to Seemops here, taking the VP.
Dankus is actually on the attack in North Africa, and the bubbles aren't looking great, really, for Seemops there. He's really out of supply, which is going to be an issue. He needs to connect that train line and that supply hub. Is that happening? Is that building macro happening? It is, and it is slowly crawling towards, but is it going to be enough before his troops have to fall back? I don't know.
I'm wondering where his heavy tank is from the focus tree. There's a tactic that people use where they make the icon the same as their infantry, so your enemy has to check himself where your tanks are. But this north attack seems like there might be a heavy tank involved somewhere hidden. Can we see that?
I don't think it's spawned in yet, has it? No, it's currently the one.
Oh, he didn't take it yet. He's spawning it right in. That's a very nice advantage for Dankus. He's just right now getting his Tiger tanks. A very, very strong tank division is coming from him. And he's already, without even using that, getting the good bubbles.
Exactly what I thought would happen. The naval invasion has started again. I actually need to quickly make a ruling. I think Dankus, because he wasn't here for day 1, we did make a ruling on there was a certain paratrooper trick that was banned, and I think he's doing it.
Ah, that's good old Dankus.
So I wonder if Studio could please let somebody know to go check on that. The hold, using hold to use paratroopers to restart a battle was banned on the first day. So he wasn't here for that. So we'll let him off once he's been told. But if it keeps happening, it could fall.
That is truly good old Hoi 4. People often look for easy ways out, look for tricks and exploits. There's just one that never did it. And we saw who wins that in the end. We're going to get the rule to Dankus here, and that's going to be a big problem for him, but it's just fair. If you understand the game, he's using a trick here that he can always restart battles. And We will see how that turns out. I think, though, with time, we still have 31 minutes left. Seemops can easily take Malta. The submarines are slowly dying. He's going to get there. Obviously, this is a bit harsh for him here. Now building an economy, and the war in the middle of Africa is on a stalemate. But the supply looks good. I was about to say no one should push. There's the free submarine kills, beautifully done. There's almost no submarines left. Beautiful supply here by Seemops in North Africa.
Yeah, it's finally connected to that supply hub, which was really missing for Seemops there. Hang on, does he have both the... He has both the supply hubs, so they're both connected. So that legal neutrality line that was created has actually got in the way of Seemops and not Dankus.
If you can see right here, if you press F4 on your screen real quick, we can see what happened. He has a beautiful supply depot, and they're connected. Shout out to the League of Nations supporting the non-exploiting player here. And the supply looks amazing for him. This could be... Even if Malta might not work, he has something beautiful ready here. Still needs a good tank for that, though. I would love to look into Seemops' production real quick. Unfortunately, this thing killed my screen. We got to look on Midge's screen. What do we have in the production lines of Seemops? Is there any kind of tank or something that's ready to push something?
There doesn't seem to be any tank being produced right now. We do have that rocket artillery.
Yeah, looks like.
And there are trucks in production. Maybe we can get some motorized rocket artillery. That could be an interesting.
It looks like some kind of soft attack build.
Yeah, it seems to be a very soft attack build. Also, starting to build some CAS now that obviously it gets some fighters from the Focus. Doesn't really have to worry about those. Only replacing if he has to. I think this could go either way. The infantry equipment drain right now. Well, he is training, but that's a bit bigger of a deficit than I'd like to see right now, considering he's only training 4 divisions.
He still has time, and one thing a lot of people... What makes a player instantly better in Hoi 4 is understanding how important infantry equipment is. You run out of it so quickly. Oftentimes you play the game, you have 50,000 guns, and suddenly they're all gone because something went wrong. You're building 20 divisions. He needs to fix that very, very quickly, and Dankus is now showing us his heavy tank. The big hero of his build is there. There's the Tiger tank. Has supply issues, but it's going to easily walk through that infantry. The light tank already having some issues with equipment, and at the moment Seemops does not have a counter for this heavy tank. And as long as Dankus can supply this heavy tank, Seemops is looking in a bad position right now. And this is a bit harsh for Seemops. He was really planning on, hey, I'm taking Malta here. I have the Navy. And once I have Malta, you have to come at me. And the pressure is now growing hard on Seemops with the fact that he can't take Malta at the moment, unfortunately, to some issues there. And that this heavy tank is going to be very terrifying to deal with.
This heavy tank, the reliability is quite low, but it's 125 piercing, 35 hard attack, 27 soft attack at 127 armor, plus 58 breakthrough. It is a beast of a unit. And the actual tank template is also pretty scary, especially in the software. It's only 28th width, so it's not optimal, but it will do the job.
And that was a beautiful high-level move by Dankus here. He looks at this division and doesn't just keep it. He doesn't just accept it for what it is. He changed it into 28 widths. That could be A, to save equipment, and B, to just have a better overall combat width here in the desert in the north. That was a very high-level move that we saw from there. And he knows he's winning right now. He has both these points. If Studio told him about the paratrooper issue, and
I think so, because he's moved them all over to the island now. So they're not like waiting to drop in right
and that
at the
shows
right
us,
time.
yeah, you see Malta here on the
around.
top of the screen. Malta is ready to be invaded again without exploits now. And if Seemops, maybe they told him that, I hope so, he knows he can try Malta again if he realizes, yeah, he is, as we talk about it. He now has utter control in the Navy. He needs to use that, needs to get that shore bombardment and get in there. I think he has good divisions there too. They have artillery, rocket artillery is going in. He might even have the green air. And if he takes Malta, he can change the tide of this game right now.
Absolutely. And if that is the case, that will be one of the fastest Allied victories, I think, on this map, especially as he could then use this to start harassing Gabes. It's going to push Dankus all the way back, probably. He won't be able, the Tripoli line will not be as tenable, especially if there's air now coming in from Malta. I really hope Seemops can dislodge this. Plus, it will really dislodge this series, because Dankus is, as we've said, the leading man. He is our highest elo. He's our last season winner, and an upset today could be interesting.
Yeah. Beautiful air though for Seemops. I was thinking, and it still feels like so much is going right for Seemops. The issue with Malta really pushed him back a bit, and now comes the big question of a legend player. Can he in 26 minutes figure out how to deal with this? That is the big question of the game now. Gets the recovery rate, gets the civs. He's looking for a long game here. and switching back to Dankus, he must be very comfortable just holding. The strength of the 10 rifts is it's very hard to harass you. 10 rifts are everywhere. You can't just naval wait easily wherever you want.
Seemops is pushing here. Seemops is pushing in Tripoli. Oh, he's just probing the line. He stopped. He stopped.
Dankus must be feeling sweaty about the red air zone that he sees here. And again, Chad, what you see here is just basic 10 whiffs, I think even 12 whiffs, and the heavy tank is the bread and butter. Gets now 2 motorized divisions. I gotta say they're my favorite divisions because they can rush around the enemy. But here we only have 3 tiles of combat. Rushing someone down is gonna be very hard. The heavy tank is getting ready. I think he just put it down to counter that probing attack he saw a second ago. And he's in a defensive mode. He's understanding whatever happens now, I need to be prepared for it.
Yeah. This is looking a little stagnant right now, but there's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of thoughts going on. Dankus is probably now trying to rejig his tactic. I reckon he was going to be like really trying to hold in North Africa and then keep using that tactic of the.
If you maybe we can see that again. If you go to the north, do you see that? That is a beautiful hot spine tactic that many people don't use. That is a scout. You use a very trash submarine you don't really need, and you put it on ports, and you know exactly what's going on. Beautiful. Beautiful tactic.
Seemops, are you doing what I'm thinking you're doing?
Oh. And he's staying active. He is not just preparing something big. There's a nice battle going on here in the desert.
Seemops is going to try doing your favorite tactic, triggering the micro. He is sending a 2-width motorized division all the way into the heartland of Dankus. I wonder if that will be enough to upset the line.
Even wins the battle here. The light tank is going to take the south here. This is going to work. I think the heavy tank is not in the battle. There's the counter pin, though. To explain to the viewers what pinning is, you can see, if we look at the battle here for a second, that he was almost winning the battle, but that's the 25 bubble is a so-called pin. He's making sure, oh, you won your battle, but you're not leaving the territory because I am still putting you into a battle. A beautiful high-level tactic to do, especially when you have a Germany versus Russia game and everybody's pinning. Oh my God, you are gonna sweat a lot on that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This is super lovely to see. This is like, I love this event because it is showing and showcasing all elements of high-tier Hoi. It is showing every facet of the game in its prime. And I love this. I love this placement right now. The carrier fleet is holding position, being used as a floating airfield to help with the air above Tripoli. The Tripoli air zone, which is where a lot of the battle is going on. Let's quickly take a look at the Tripoli air zone if we can. Look at this combat. 400 versus 331. Dankus has managed to get more fighters than the Allies? How many fighters has he been producing? But either so, this is a battle. Where this will flip will put the nail in the coffin for either player. If whoever wins this air war, I believe, is going to be our winner today for this matchup.
Exactly, and the interesting thing is the 100 CAS, right? It's nice to have green air, but you have to also use it, and the 100 CAS is a beautiful thing here to help the player with the ground attack, and it's going to be very hard to push through as long as CAS is against you. They're also trading very evenly.
Yeah.
Very, very equal. We have 23 minutes left, and the problem now for Seemops is he needs to start looking for a solution for this. I think the solution might be Malta still. Yep. There's 3 paratroopers there. I think just 10 whiffs. They're not that strong. Obviously, Dankus understands he needs to hold Malta here hard, and Seemops could maybe get some kind of marine, some kind of strong soft attack division. He has the artillery too. He has the rocket artillery. He can make something. Oh, that's a big defense now. That's not just paratroopers anymore. He's ready to hold Malta.
Yep.
And
they have
Seemops.
They have
23 minutes.
Yeah, they have been flipped into just 10 withholding divisions, which are stacking up that entrenchment. Of course, the Axis pick, the Wehrmacht pick, do get established a blocking force, which is entrenchment speed and engineer bonuses. So if you can make a special garrison force for Malta, it's going to be very difficult to dislodge at this point. The battle for Malta was there, and it was almost
yeah, and it must be very frustrating for a player, right? That didn't work. But again, under pressure, Diamond's armmate Seemops has to recover from that, has to find a solution here. He's showing some good divisions here. Maybe we can look at them. You see the division with the helmet DTs too? That must be his good divisions.
Yes, I think it is. It is. Oh, though these are the spawned in Australian.
They're spawned from
the spawned in, so they're 18 widths currently. I don't think they spawn in as 18
they're not
bullets,
that-
so they have
that
been
amazing.
they have been flipped to they're using reconnaissance and engineers, and then just flat infantry.
I'm wondering where all his artillery is and what kind of division. Is it in his basics? In his
These.
these are the special ones. Let us take a look at this
Yeah.
template here.
Yeah, that's a
strong
soft.
one.
That's a
even
soft
rocket
attack
artillery.
gun. Yeah, that's look at.
Yeah, that is
Oh.
I'm gonna take Malta division. Hopefully I'm gonna take Malta division.
So do you reckon these templates on the thing, these two over here, are to try and trigger Dankus to go? Oh, is that actually where the good divisions are? Whilst hiding these guys behind the line.
Maybe at the moment, Dankus. That's also difference in gameplay, right? We saw the scouting with the submarines from Seemops. Imagine Dankus will scout right now. He will see the 3 divisions ready for Malta. A very, very high-level thing a Hoi4 player can do is always scouting with Navy. Because many people do mistakes. It's a small mistake, but Seemops has his good divisions on a port right now. They want to invade. A very good thing you can do in Hoi4s, make your units, your good units that you don't want to see, not be at the front line and not be on a port and away from a sea tile. So a scouting player never sees what you really own. And obviously he needs him here. He's preparing for the invasion, even though you can still prepare an invasion when you're not even at the port.
Yes.
But Dankus is not scouting. That's really relevant right now. And I think he's also training them up, getting ready for the veteran status, and then he is going in as prepared as he can be to take Malta.
Yeah, I'm also really excited to see if, before he hits the Malta invasion, if these two fast movers that are going behind the lines, I wonder if they'll get triggered first to try and draw Dankus' screen away so Malta is off the map for him.
That is beautiful. And I would always call this the college tactic. I love that. He's not just invading behind the lines here. As you can see, chat, on the west, over in the west territories of the Axis with the motorized. If you do that, wow, you landed, you just get killed, nothing happened. But if he does it exactly where Malta happens, he triggers the micromanagement of Dankus. He's scared about a weird naval invasion in his home land, while other things are happening. We saw that beautifully. For me, yet the most beautiful play I've seen this tournament from college yesterday, who's invading France with 2 with motorized, knowing he's not going to achieve much, just doing some terror, while then doing other stuff at the main front line, and it gives him just this little advantage, right? You want little advantages.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really interested to see. We're going to get the 4th Infantry Division, which is some more 20-width infantry coming in, and also tank hunters, which will really help. But I really want to see Seemops perhaps get to the end of this branch and really start to flesh it out. But he needs to make a go of it soon. There's only 18 minutes left on the clock.
Let us then take a look at Seemops, who is ready for his big moves. The divisions are strong. I love the training here on the special divisions. He can't prepare much more for Malta than this.
Dankus' navy is back out, though.
Oh, let's take a look there.
There is some naval invasion that's going out. So the submarines are out and convoy raiding. They are being picked off, though, by Seemops. I wonder if that was Dankus' attempt to get in and try and spot something.
It's like he can hear his old mate Tommy. He tried probably to scout something and gets instantly caught. And it looks like Seemops finally has control of his navy. He understands now what he's doing. He has anything that's blue on the screen is his, ready to take it on. The question now is, when is the Malta move going to happen, right?
Yeah, the Malta move is the one that we're watching for. Really, it is the time. Also, as a note, we do need to remember that currently, Dankus is playing under the assumption that he's fighting the Americans, unless he's worked it out from what fleet appeared.
Okay. Wouldn't you think, though, if he sees the divisions, for example, the light tank, he understands. These guys are so deep into these builds. The moment he sees that light tank, he understands, okay, that's not USA. You put your mouse over it, you see, for example, the Anzac divisions, which are from the Commonwealth tree. If he doesn't pay attention, he would probably think that. And that will then trigger, though, if a player thinks he's facing USA, they're scared of that because they think USA players are very strong in late game.
So that's why I'm wondering what kind of level of mind games are going on here. I am really interested, though. I am really, really interested to see when this invasion goes off. We are all waiting with bated breath to see what happens. 17 minutes. Seemops has time. He doesn't need to rush. We'd obviously like to see it right now because we'd like to see the pressure on. But there is time.
Yeah, even his paratrooper now. He just is bringing a paratrooper over. You can't see him at the moment, but there it is.
Oh, the Special Air Service one from the SAS.
Yeah, beautiful.
This is obviously veteran trained, so it's got a huge combat modifier. And, of course, it's 18 width. It is pretty weighty. Is that going to be brought on as a... Is that going to hit... Is he going to combo the naval invasion with an aerial landing?
Yeah, maybe he's like, hey, you want to use weird tricks, Dankus? I can do that too. He's getting the paratrooper ready that he got from the focus tree. He's using his resources, not just putting it away.
Yeah.
He even gets a transport plane now in order to be able to do this. And it's gonna. This looks like a very interesting timing push. This needs to work. If it doesn't work, Seemops is in massive trouble. He understands there's nothing going to happen on the mainland. I will even suggest Dankus to try something on the mainland. Maybe his army looks much stronger, especially with the Tiger tank there. This is now really going to come down and climax at the invasion of Malta by Seemops.
I want to just also point out that the carrier from Seemops is level 5. It has veterancy, which also gives it that bonus to sortie efficiency, making the planes on it even better.
Yeah.
Which is a really, really, really dangerous
That is
thing.
a big boy carrier. And once again, what I said in the beginning of the game, it was crystal clear. Seemops is going to get the naval advantage, but can he use it? Can he get Malta of that? And I don't know how exactly he will do that, but maybe he should have looked for a way to raid the Mediterranean, to starve the divisions in Malta of their supply to make it an easy invasion. We just saw in the Bokloin game before this, the mining took all our supply away.
Yes.
That was a great solution to how to starve people on an island like Malta. But he's not doing that. There's no raiding really going on. The air zone still not looking that good for Dankus. He has this little German fleet here, puts it on ever repair. He knows something's going on. He knows something's going to happen soon. You can feel the anticipation in the air. It is static. And 14 minutes left. It has to happen soon. Doing some raiding here in the east. Trying to intercept. He's always staying active.
I've noticed that Seemops has moved his paratrooper towards the front line, probably expecting a Dankus attack here. I'm not sure this is the move, at least not without changing the unit icon. Now Dankus knows. Like
he's going. Is he going? He's going, right?
No, that's the motorized. That's the motorized. This is the college school of thought.
Church of College.
The school of college in the Church of Leonard.
School of College. And I don't know if I like this. Don't you? Maybe when they land, he's going to stop the invasion. This is the timing push we're talking about now.
This is the thing. It needs to be timed well. Honestly, I think these guys need to land so that Dankus's attention is fully turned.
Yeah.
Like, it needs to happen. Like, Dankus needs to notice it. So it needs to get this head start. And here they go in. Also notably, because there is no naval supremacy, any damage that Seemops does to the supply lines and cutting them off connecting to the capital here, that is going to put pressure on the front line for Dankus. That heavy tank could come at risk if there's enough pushing power here.
There it is. He even wants to take the airports with that. He's now ready. Look at that. This is the timing push. Everything has been prepared for 30 minutes.
There's the Malta attack, and it is, oh my gosh, it is struggling. There's naval penalty there. It's low supply. There is short bombardment.
And here comes Malta. Oh, that bubble cannot be good for him. The defense
really
is very
not
good.
good.
No shore bombardment. You can see it in his face. You just saw the breath there. I know that breath. I've done that many times. You prepare something for a long time, and it just doesn't quite work. He is looking, what is wrong here? Why is it, I have the green air. I have 67 CAS. I have the soft attack. And now he looks at the
It's the
at the land.
entrenchment bonus.
Yeah.
It's just
133 defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think, unfortunately, the solution would have been to find some way to convoy raid, starve the Malta units, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Casablanca being taken here, I think.
Yeah.
Dankus, is he?
Let's
How close is he to capitulation?
Let's look at Dankus's just.
Okay, he's reacting.
Yeah, currently Malta's not even on the screen. If this was going green for Malta, this would be the perfect time now.
Now he's reacting. I thought he was scared to use his port divisions because he thought something else was going to follow up. But the capital might go down here in a second, but I think it's just not enough.
Yeah,
Gets now the
nowhere near
Sea Wolves,
the
20
situation.
submarines, and it looks like the Malta defense looks so good. It was even last standing.
Oh,
the green
that's
bubble.
just so rough. One of the things here is that was a negative 67% penalty because these aren't Marines.
Yeah. A Marine would have done a massive difference here.
Massive swing difference there would be if these guys were Marines rather than just standard infantry. I think he would have the Special Forces cap as well as the Brits to be able to have those because there is a Special Forces capacity modifier here and training time.
Yeah.
So if he techs Marines and flipped that template, I think it would have done far better. But this is kind of becoming a little bit of a Seemops is going to have to slow down. This is also Seemops' map pick, which makes me worry for this series a little bit. But we did see a really solid couple of games from him on Rhine yesterday.
It is a very bitter pill to swallow for Seemops, because we have to talk about the elephant in the room here. If the paratrooper, I want to say maybe exploit, I don't want to even call it, wouldn't have happened in the early game, will this be different? It's hard, we don't know the answer, and we shouldn't talk about it too long. It happened, there has been other opportunities.
Yes.
And as I said, now it shows if Seemops can overcome this. If he loses this game right now, he has a second game, and the Rhine map is very equal.
Yep.
And he can still show there that I want to bring karma to Dankus.
In fact, credit where credit's due to Dankus. Looking at it, it is a variation on an exploit that we banned. I don't think it is directly the same one that was banned before, but it just uses the same mechanics in a slightly different way. Because the way that paratroopers are slightly broken currently in Hoi is, I say currently because the dev team have now been told about it, is the fact that when a unit shares a tile, the game gets very confused, as obviously it flips. You can use it to flip attack and defense, and the reason we banned it originally was because you could use paratroopers if you held them whilst they were landing. They would land on the tile, and then the unit that was defending the tile would then switch to being the attacking tile and could get like instantly wiped out. Also take a defensive penalty that wouldn't be organized, and it would just like completely like wipe the units. He was using this as to drop them to reinforce it, which is different, but it uses the same theory of they are sharing a tile, they're not part of the combat, you join them when they're after the combat, so it restarts the combat, and it basically is a way of saving your divisions without any other harassment and making them share the tile. It is, again, so credit to Dankus, it wasn't actually exactly the same as what was going on. It was just initially from what I was seeing. I was like, that looks like the problem.
I don't know the exact answer to what I'm saying right now, but there could have been ways that the naval dominance of Seemops could have been used to stop these submarines a bit better and their interception.
Yes.
And then it could have worked, actually. You can see Seemops is a high-level player. He's often looking at stats. He's looking at all these battles, Malta and North Africa, and he just understands, I don't have the breakthrough. The defense of my enemy and his entrenchment is too good. And even if I break it, the Tiger tank is heavy to handle. Yeah. And maybe the question has been answered. Maybe the USA build is just the build for the Allies on North Africa here. He took a risk with the Commonwealth 8th Army. It almost worked. It is bitter, but now he has 9 minutes left. He's just clicking around, looking at stuff, and I don't know if anything here can beat this defense.
Yeah, he's just so entrenched. The entrenchment bonus on top of what the Axis get is pretty nice. Interestingly, according to that battle modifier, the Allies and the Axis were being shore bombarded. I'm not sure that's the case, but either way. Oh no, there is an Axis Navy out there, but it is just submarines. This is the thing. Also, it had to be noted early on, the Navy wasn't really set up for what Seemops was trying to do. Everything was very big, like it was a big doom stack doing kind of the wrong mission. Nothing was on naval invasion support, so there was not shore bombardment for longer. There was everyone was on convoy raiding, but inefficient craft were doing the convoy raiding. There was more than enough destroyers. They could have split certain things off. Honestly, you probably could have had the battleships and 5 of the destroyers do just the the shore bombardment, the actual naval invasion support tactic, whilst the rest was spread out more, catching more of these submarines, stopping that microclick. And Dankus's microclick on that submarine to keep them trying to harass that invasion was probably enough.
You could also argue Seemops did a big navy where his enemy doesn't make a big navy. He just takes Malta and defends it. And this could be argued, we could debate about it, if he went too deep into navy here, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Also, one thing I would like to still see on this map from the else is a Russia build, a heavy tank Russia. Look at what we're looking right now. Out micro your enemy here with tanks. That is something that could be offered. I mean, it's proven the USA seems to be the strongest here, but now starts the land battle. This is a desperate all-in from Seemops that I think Dankus, with his experience, is easily going to hold. Especially, once again, look at the south here, chat. This Tiger tank is a bad boy. Whatever's going to happen, he's going to take care of it. They're calling the big brother. He stays south, though, doesn't care. And with just 6 minutes, 48 seconds left, it's looking hella grim for Seemops, who has to show on map number 2 that he has more than that. And this hasn't been a very micro-extensive battle here. And that's what I love about the Rhine map. It is the micro map.
Yeah.
And Dankus, Memecus, #esports has to show his micro skills on the Rhineland map. Now pushing through, even the motorized is there. The supply now very, very bad for Seemops.
Yeah,
I think if we look at his face here, he's not going to look very happy.
He's still got that focus, but yeah, there is a certain deflation moment. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
there
little
you
grimace there. That shows it. It's really taken it. The air has taken the toll as well. Dankus has just outproduced in those fighters. Again,
Interesting how slowly it shifted, though.
yeah, I do see real good merit to the style of play that Seemops went for. It's just the execution was in, and I probably would have been safer, like you say, going for that US build here. It's just unfortunate. But again, we did see some really, really strong games from Seemops on the previous, on the Rhine map. I believe he is on. Let me just get the which side of the map he's on. Of course, our lovely hosts will inform us again once that goes again. But I believe we're going to be seeing. Yes, we are going to see Seemops on the Axis and Dankus on the Allies. We saw a really, really good sort of play from Seemops as the Axis against Golden on the Rhine. So I am excited to see him. I definitely don't think he's like. I think even though it's not his pick, I think he's ended up with his more solid choice on that map. So it could be a very close fight.
And I have something positive here for Seemops. He won against Golden on the Rhine yesterday as the Germans while losing his heavy tank. He just came back afterwards.
Absolutely.
And he's not going to lose his heavy tank this early today. No. I don't believe that. And as I always say, I love an underdog story. And Seemops is now, after probably losing this game, the big underdog of this. But he is going to play Germany on the Rhine map here in the next game. And probably going to show us what he's made of. Dankus now just doing some probing attacks. He knows I probably got this. Malta is not takeable. And I thought he stuck for a second in his camera, but he was just sheerly focusing for 10 seconds, not moving. And unfortunately, Seemops probably cannot find a solution to this at the moment.
There's a marine research there from Seemops. That is way too late.
Yeah.
It needed to be that shift. Honestly, as soon as that first invasion failed, that first naval invasion failed, I would be wanting to take that. I would want to be going, okay, I'm going to need Marines to dislodge this when the time comes. So I think it's just very late. He's going to try and go for it again. He's going to try one desperate attempt here. And again, it is going to be desperate. He's going to put those Marines in, but Dankus has got a navy out. Dankus just had a battleship there in front. There was an Axis navy, which means that was being used for shore bombardment and has been caught. But that could prove the clincher there for Dankus. So if that then intercepts the naval invasion, oh, it's rough. It really is rough.
As I'm looking at the game right now, I'm interested in the United States Marine Corps build here. You get the good navy, you have the very strong marine, and that marine would have helped a lot with Malta.
Yeah,
that could have been very interesting here. A lot of people do not play the U.S. Marine Corps. They play the other side of the tree, and now
they still get that. They do get that factory bonus at the end that everyone really likes. So honestly, they could be the one.
Yeah, he's going for transports right now, looking maybe for the upset here, a final big invasion. But I think Dankus is such an experienced player. He's not gonna let anything burn here. He knows. We also saw him build massive coastal bunkers on Malta, and the defense bonus is now just massive. Let's never forget how important the bunkers are. In the game before, maybe we saw, Chad, we were under massive attack in Manila in a single city, and just building these bunkers, giving you the 25% bonus with each level, is so massive, yeah? And especially a very important VP like Malta. Once you have level 4, 5, 6 coastal bunkers there, someone is going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Dankus is actually able to push up. He's taken the supply point away from Seemops over here now, so this is going to be untenable for Seemops to even stand here. Dankus now 7 divisions on Malta, getting that entrenchment bonus. These guys are going to be a pain to try and dislodge. Seemops, I don't think, has it in him right now.
And as always, respect to the effort. Seemops is not giving up. Doesn't call it GG early. They always keep playing. I won't be like that.
I don't think we've really had an early GG other than in the last few minutes of the game. on
And
this
there it
event.
is.
We're down to
The
1
final
minute 50.
try.
The final try is coming
Unfortunately,
in.
it's not Marine. 67% debuff, I think, from that in his stats, in his attack. He's going all in on Malta.
They are being caught by the German Navy as well.
It's a single submarine that almost has no more armor around it.
There is one submarine.
That's
that
like
has
a
been
single
sat
guy
there.
swimming.
It's been sat there the
Yeah,
entire
and
yeah,
that
it's a
looks
guy
pretty
with a
bad.
Panzerfaust and scuba gear.
Oh,
just
2-0-1. That just hurts. And yeah, he knows what's going on here. That is the GG probably. he
oh,
probably just called it
negative
GG, didn't he?
76% on that
Yeah,
attack.
he needed Marines for
No,
that.
no, that is that. Oh no, that is just it's.
And that
devastating.
is, I can say now, the first game going to Dankus.
Yeah.
He did the unthinkable. He won North Africa map as the X, is something I haven't seen that much. That has to be a big upset. Seemops has chosen this map even, and he has chosen the allies. And it's all going to come down now to the Battle of the Rhine. Germany versus the allies. Seemops representing his own country. He told me as I was talking to him, he loves playing Germany. He likes the focus trees, the tank, the build above it. He feels very comfortable with it. And he understands the language. And
yeah.
in 36 seconds, he will unfortunately be down one game.
Yeah, he'll be down one game, but he's obviously not out. This is a best of 3. If he pulls the next game back, we'll go to the third map in our series, which probably, I'm going to argue that the final map will be, if it goes to it, we're going to see an upset if Dankus is on it. Because it's so navally focused, it's less about tank micro, which is Dankus' true wheelhouse, that will be Seemops' probably best chance to throw Dankus out of this
Yeah,
competition.
it is a GG. That would be so interesting, though. If Seemops takes down Nevernoto, we're going to finally see game number 3, people. And that will be the Nashinron map, the Southeast Asia map. And we don't know how strong Dankus is going to do there, because we all know Dankus needs little tricks and his snuffs to get it done. But all the respect to the man, well played here. He did everything perfectly. But boy, oh boy, am I excited for game number 2 right now.
Yeah. So just to recover, because there's a lot of people that have been answering the potential exploit that happened there. Whilst it was a factor, it only was a factor for about 30 seconds of gameplay, and so there were still very much the chances that this match would have gone the exact same way. It was allowing Dankus to reinforce that island faster than he could have navally, and that's kind of what happened there. Those paratroopers being able to hold and land on already owned points and like stand out of a battle, watch the battle, then join the battle when was ready. It is unfortunate, and again, this is a part of the fact that Dankus wasn't here previously. It's again, and also a miscommunication on our part. But like we say, there was enough failings there in Seemops'
Especially,
game.
I just was about to say, in the beginning, there was no trick. It was the submarines catching these convoys. And if you can figure out a way to stop these submarines, there was some wrong order going
which was
on.
really,
He will
really
take it. The bubble was 80, almost 94% at some point, and it was possible. I think fair and square, we have a winner here in game number 1, Dankus Memecus. Game number 2 is gonna... You know what? And this is where the friendship stops. This is where things will get ugly. This is where things will go hard.
Join us after the break, where we're going to turn up the heat with game 2.